Golden Gate Canyon is full of hidden history, quiet trails, dense pines, and tucked away in the hills, the remains of an old Colorado homestead. Families once lived, worked, and survived out here long before this became a state park. But what was this homestead about? And what traces of their daily life are still waiting along the trail for those willing to look closely? Today, we're hiking straight into that mystery. Welcome to the Lost Fjord. So we're here today in Golden Gate Canyon State Park to hike to some old ruins here in the valley. We're starting at Bridge Creek, then 0.7 miles on Burro Trail until we finally get onto our trail of the day, Mountain Lion Trail. This is pretty cool. Right off the trail here we have a small hummingbird nest. Let's take a look and see if anyone's home. First started hiking, I didn't actually believe there would be 1,600 feet of elevation gain, but the trail is quickly proving me wrong. Golden Gate Canyon State Park. Boy, that's a tongue twister. Has more than 12,000 acres of space with over 35 miles of trails. 1,200 acres of places you can fish, hunt, hike, rock climb, camp. There's yurts, so there's a little bit of something for everybody. They also allow hunting in the park by permit, and only in the Jefferson County portion of the park. Hunting is only allowed from the Tuesday after Labor Day through the Friday before Memorial Day. What you're seeing here on these pine trees is actually beetle kill. What happens is a female beetle lands on the tree, burrows, and releases pheromones, and all the male beetles flock to it. So usually what you'll see, especially when it just starts, is a small clump of trees, because these male beetles have really bad aim. So they'll just run into any tree around the area. So you can kind of see this little cluster of 4 here, another one here. What happened is probably the female made it in, burrowed, and then the male beetles just hit whatever tree they could and started digging and looking. They eat a ring around the tree. That's that same layer that the tree utilizes to pass nutrients up and down. So essentially they just go around and kill it. You get trees like this. I was a little bit nervous when I first saw that little plume of smoke over there, but then as you look around a bit more, you see there are small houses dotted throughout the area. And from here, I can tell it's just a nice chimney fire. So we've made it here to our first intersection. We're going to go from Burro Trail up Mountain Lion Trail in search of those ruins. Found this marker on a tree. Not sure if it's an actual trail marker or if it's something for mitigation or to try to keep the beetles away. If you have any idea, let me know in the comments. I'd be curious to learn. We've just gotten to another intersection and it looks like we're on the right path, staying on Mountain Lion Trail. And I agree with the sign. You are beautiful. One of the cool things I'm noticing on each of these little markers here, they actually have emergency locators. That way, if you do have any problems and you have cell service, which most of this park doesn't, you can actually tell them exactly where you are. It makes it easier for them to find you. If you ever do get stuck in the woods, there's two trains of thought. Ask for help, radio for help, stay in place, or keep moving. See if you can get yourself out of trouble. I'm not an expert, but get training, do what's best. And at that moment, my battery died. But what I was trying to say before I was so rudely interrupted by technology is that you should get training and use that training to pick the best course of action. Use the STOP method. Stop walking and stay calm. Think about your situation and how you got there. Observe your surroundings for landmarks and clues, and plan your next move. Another cool thing about this state park is they have some backcountry camping sites. Looks like this is the trail to one of them, but you need a reservation. We don't have one today. If my calculations are correct, we should be getting pretty close to seeing the cabin. Hey everybody, I wanted to take a minute, take a break, enjoy the view, and thank every single one of you for joining me on these adventures. We're new, we're still learning, but having a great time, and the community is growing. So thank you guys so much. I wouldn't still be doing this if you guys didn't enjoy it. So thank you again, and I hope we can keep having adventures together. Such a cool little dam. On one side, we've got these beautiful aspen trees. They've finally gotten rid of all their leaves for the winter. And over here, beautiful lake, beautiful view of this cabin. You ever find that one piece of equipment that changes how you hike or makes it more enjoyable? For me, this Grail bottle. Used to be, walk by, enjoy a stream. Oh, that's pretty, that's nice. But now every time I see a stream, I take the opportunity to drink the water that's in here because I never drink enough, but also refill it. Use this thing. This one's been great. I've had it for a while now. Grail does not sponsor me, but if they want to, please reach out. But honestly, it's been a great water bottle. I've never had any issues with it, and it's a lot of fun. So if you need one for your hiking adventures, down in the description, I've actually got my Amazon affiliate link. Click on that, it'll take you to it. It doesn't change the price, but it does help the channel out. This is a sign that winter is coming. You can see a little bit of ice on top of the water here, but only in this most shaded corner. But it won't be long before the whole lake is frozen, I'm sure. Well, look at this. A full-on rock pile lean-to tucked back in the trees. Honestly, not a bad little setup. Looks pretty comfortable. And you know what they say. Mysterious shelters in the woods usually mean one thing. Bigfoot's been busy again. Hoping this trail takes us to the cabin. We'll see though. With a small trout pond right in front of the main ranch house, we can see the Tallman homestead. In 1995, the Tallman Ranch was added to the Colorado State Register of Historic Properties. So I was looking at this old storehouse, wishing I could get a look inside, just because it's such a cool construction. And I noticed here, under this little window, there's a small square hole. I'm guessing for ventilation, but we have the cool opportunity to be able to take a look inside without disturbing anything. So let's check it out. Anders Tallman emigrated from Sweden. He and his wife Christina built their home along Knott Creek. Behind the ranch house, you'll find the chicken house and the stables. This log cabin was built in the 1880s. Let's take a look. You can still see all of this wood locally sourced, but still holding strong, actually. This used to be a small farmhouse, but you can still see the shims that they've put in to keep everything level. I'm guessing they had mud or hay packed in here for insulation. You can even see the old nails and custom pegs that they held in there to keep it from moving. And I always want to think that folks back then were shorter, but the reason for it was actually to keep the heat in. If you raised your step a little bit off the floor, the cold would sink to the bottom and wouldn't go anywhere. And again, if the head was low enough, it would trap the heat on the interior. And in the winters up here, you would definitely want something to keep you warm. Tallman Ranch sits quietly in the heart of Golden Gate Canyon State Park. But back in the late 1800s, this place was anything but quiet. It was homesteaded by a Swedish immigrant named Anders Tallman, who settled on roughly 400 acres near Knott Creek. He and his family built a life out here the hard way, raising dairy and beef cattle, keeping chickens, growing vegetables, and cutting timber to get through long Colorado winters. The buildings that still stand today, the ranch house, the barn, the milk house, and a handful of outbuildings, aren't just leftovers. They're a preserved snapshot of frontier living, a reminder of what it took to survive in these mountains more than a century ago. And now, as we walk through what remains, we're literally stepping through the daily life of the Tallman family. Echoes of a time when this entire canyon was a working landscape built by hand and held together by grit. And there we have it. We made it, and now we get to sit back, timidly, and take in the rewards of our adventure. It was a great time, and I can't wait for everyone to join me on the next adventure, here at the Lost Fjord.